Hi everybody, this is Mark. Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the bathroom fan. Now, all bathrooms by code, by the building code, requires that they have a ventilation fan in them. They have various names for them, but you've seen them, bathroom fans. They're available at Home Depot and so forth. And if you go into your bathroom, it is required to have a bathroom fan in there. Now, the only code exception for that is if the bathroom has a window to the outside that can be opened. But even if it has a window, people usually have bathroom fans installed. So a bathroom fan, of course, is to ventilate out smells and also ventilate out the humidity in bathrooms. So it's an important function. And they are normally hooked up to a switch, a regular two-pole switch, on-off type switch. And bathroom fans operate between 50 cubic feet per minute. So basically they pull about 50 cubic feet of air every minute. And that's assuming that it has a very short duct that it's connected to. But the idea is that these fans only pull about 50, and that's on the low end, and they can go up to maybe 100, 120 on the real powerful ones, but that's assuming that it's just pushing the air a very short distance. We're all familiar with these bathroom fans that make a lot of noise, and they sound like they're really doing something, but we never really feel the air being moved. We all know that these fans are barely pulling any air. So what do? We turn them on and they run while we're in there, and then they basically aren't really accomplishing anything because as we leave the bathroom we turn the fan off. So it really hasn't changed the smell in there. We haven't changed the ventilation at all. So the solution to this, and really I think every home should have this, is a timer on that bathroom fan, so that what you can do as you leave the bathroom is you can set that timer for a certain number of minutes, and the fan will run for those minutes and then turn itself off automatically. You don't have to be standing there holding the switch on or turning it off or letting it run for 20 minutes and then forgetting about it and having the thing run all day. So what we want is for it to run about 15 to 20 minutes. And I've done a few little calculations here. If you have, say, a regular size bathroom, there's no regular size bathroom, but let's say your bathroom is, say, 8 foot one direction and, say, 15 foot the other direction. It's a pretty good size bathroom. That would put it at 8 times 15 at, say, 120 square feet of floor space. And if you have an 8-foot ceiling in that bathroom, you're going to have 960 cubic feet of airspace in that bathroom. And if your fan is pulling 50 cubic feet per minute, in order to pull all that air out of that bathroom, it's going to take 20 minutes. So you're not going to stand there for 20 minutes, of course, while the thing pulls the air out and then come back a half an hour later and turn it off. You need a way to have that fan turn off automatically. And if you had, say, one of the more powerful fans that are more expensive that pull, say, 100 CFM, you're still looking at 10 minutes for that fan to pull that volume of air and put it up the ventilation, up the duct. So again, we're looking at 10 to 12 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. And then if you have like a little toilet room, and say toilet rooms are like 4 feet wide by 8 feet or 7 feet, so they're going to have like a full, assuming again an 8-foot ceiling, they're going to have like 250 cubic feet in that toilet room. And so at 50 CFM, it's still going to take 5 minutes for that thing to operate. And again, it's only pulling the air at the top, and there's dead air space, and so it's a really good idea to have that fan run for extra time. So again, setting the fan switch on a timer is a better way to do it. So there's different kinds of timer switches. There's push button types where you can just push in there a 5 or a 10 or 15 or a half an hour. Those are great. I had one of those in our house. And you can see a whole variety of these fan switches, and they're all easy to install. So I recommend that you just pick the one that you like. I actually have the kind that you dial. They're mechanical, and you turn them around, and I'll show you one of those in a minute. I'll show you how I install it. And then there's another suggestion. It's called a smart switch. It's made by Brown, and I have one here. These cost about $40, $35. You can get them anywhere. And basically, it is a toggle switch, or not a toggle, a Decora switch. And it has here these wires. So it has the ground wire, which is the bare wire. They all have the same wiring, okay? It has a copper ground wire. You connect that to your ground. It has the white wire, which of course is the neutral, so you connect that to the other white wires in the box behind the switch. And then you have a black wire called line. It actually says line on it. It's hard, you can't read it from there. Anyway, it's a black one, that's called line, and it has a red one called load. So there's line and load. And again, line means power line from the power company. If you remember it that way, line means from the power line, and load is what's going to the fan. So this switch operates as a ventilation system. And these are really good because they will, there's a variety of these different ones that do different things. Some of them actually communicate with other fan switches in the house, but a single Brown smart switch like this it will randomly turn on every day for about 45 minutes and run. And you can set them for running for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. You can set it for 10-minute increments, I think over an hour. It's very simple to switch. It's just a matter of tapping on it a certain number of times, and the instructions are online and you can see how to do it. But it's a good idea because it basically ventilates air out of your house. So that's another concept that you need to be considering, is that ventilating air out of your house is an important thing to do on an ongoing basis. We don't want to have dead air in your house because you've got all sorts of toxic things in your house. You have carpeting, glue from your cabinetry, flooring, paint, and so forth. These all are gassing or off-gassing toxic fumes and such that we don't smell, but they could potentially affect us. So to ventilate that out of the house is an important thing. So again, I would recommend running your regular bath fans for between a half an hour to 45 minutes every day, and this Brown Smart Switch will do that for you all by itself. So here it is. It's the Brown SMS-C110. But there's like I said, Brown makes a whole variety of these, and you can go online and check them out. So this is the device we're going to be installing today. This is a timer, a mechanical timer made by Intermatic. This is a 1-hour timer, so we can go anywhere from 10 minutes all the way up to 60 minutes on this timer. Now I have some in the house that are 30-minute timers, so that you can, when you turn it all the way around, it only goes up to 30 minutes. But here's your standard light switch, fan switch. This is a bathroom, so the light is on. There, I'm turning it on, there, off, on. And then this is the fan, so you click it on and you can hear the fan running. It's a very quiet fan. I've designed it to be very quiet, but it definitely is the normal situation of a light. That's first switch, second switch is the fan. So the first step that you should do is turn off the circuit breaker. I am not actually going to turn off the circuit breaker, I just need you to know that you should turn off the circuit breaker, but I don't want to have to work in the dark here. So I'm just going to leave it on, and I'll show you how the wiring is and how you'll most likely find it in your house or your bathroom. it's going to be the same deal where there's a one wire. We call it one wire. It's actually 3 wires, a ground, a neutral, and a hot. And it comes into the box, and then there's 2 separate sets of wires, one going to the fan and one going to the light. So let me put this off to the side. Take out both devices so that we have access to the wiring. Again, I highly recommend that you turn off the breaker and do this during the daylight hours so that you're working with wires that are not hot. But I'm an electrician, I work with hot wires every day, and it's kind of like being a beekeeper. You get stung once in a while, and I don't know, you don't really ever get used to it, but it's just a reality. So this is your standard Decora switch. Has your ground. Let me take that off so I have a little better access here. Let me see here. My needle nose pliers to get in here and get this ground off of here. The normal course of action is to remove the hot wire first, because that's the one that produces the danger. Here's the way it's wired up with power comes in through the middle, comes to this switch for the light, and this is the fan. So this is the power. I'm going to hook this up temporarily so that we have light in here while I'm working. And we'll cap that off so that we have some light. Again, I don't recommend that you do this, but just be aware that there's the power, and this is the switch leg up for the fan, for the light. Here's the wire switch leg up for the fan. Okay, so we call this the line, and this is the load, and there's your switch. So I'm going to remove this switch entirely, and we're going to put the timer in its place. Okay, now the same situation with this. What you need to do with these timers is look for the place where it says line and load. Here it says, I don't know if you can see that, but it says line and load. So line 1, load 1. So I put the power to there and the switch leg to there. Here's our switch leg. Put it right in there and tighten that screw, which grips the wire inside the mechanism. So now it's gripping it nicely. This actually has no place for a ground wire to be used. Interestingly, that's pretty unusual. It's a modern device, but the ground is not used, so I'll tuck it in back into the back of the box. I don't know why they don't have a ground wire on this device, but they do not. Maybe it's because it's a plastic mechanism, plastic device. Really not necessary, I guess. It seems like that's a loose connection, even though it was pretty tight. Okay. The next thing to do is to connect my wire. The last thing I'll do is actually connect the power to this. The power connection is the last thing we do. Okay, so that's good and tight. Again, line, this is the power, load. All of these timer devices are going to have a line and a load. So just to be aware, line is like power line. And here's our power wire, and this is the line for this switch here. These are live, so I don't want to be touching those. have to stay clear of those. So I kind of get my fingers around that, separate that. Now here I want to make these wires kind of straighter so they'll kind of go together nicer under the wire nut. Connect this, and again I touch the power last. I can touch the power with these insulated pliers without any danger. This is not the tool of choice. A pair of insulated lineman's pliers would be better. But I didn't bring my tools home with me today, so I don't have them to use. And maybe it's better if I don't use them for a demonstration like this, because you probably don't have the kind of electrician's tools that... So basically you twist the wires together so that they're all neatly tucked together. Take your wire nut, twist it on there nice and snug and straight. Twist it good and solid. Okay, so the power is connected now. And now we have to connect these into position. Being aware not to touch any live wires. Again, I recommend that you just work with completely unlive wires to be safe. Now I twist this one in a little ways, and then I'll go down to the bottom and push this one in a little ways, and work it into its position. Oh, dropped my screw, which is very easy to do. This is my old workhorse Ryobi driver. I've had this thing for years. I've dropped it off 20-foot ladders in the day. It's just absolutely amazing. Very durable, strong, works as well as any. The only thing is it's a little bit big and bulky, which I don't like. And I work with a beautiful Makita brushless top-of-the-line driver every day. But at home I use this. Okay, so now we put this on here, and that designates where we are. Now I'll put this little retaining nut in place. Maybe a needle nose pliers would be a good system for twisting that. This is how it's done. There's really not that much to it. I do consider this sort of a do-it-yourself project. And that fits absolutely snug right there. Gotta try to get this so that they line up. And they will. Probably at some point I'm going to change out all these plastic base plates. We made a decision to buy the plastic ones. I'm not sure why, but I kind of regret it. I kind of like working with the nice metal ones more. There's a whole range of different timer switches available on the market. Go down to Home Depot and just see how they all are. In a house we used to have, I had a beautiful push button one that was electronic, and it would it had several settings. I think you could set it for 5 minutes, or looks like I'm missing that, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I think it had like 5 different settings. I'm having trouble getting purchase on the screws there. I may have to take that off. But I'm not in any hurry here. But the idea is we're just getting the plate off there now. Or getting the plate back in position. This is part of the process of getting it all to look pretty at the end. Yeah, it should have been able to connect. Let's pull this one out a little bit. Maybe I can that should be able to connect. Yeah, there's no reason why that wouldn't perfectly fit. There we go. Sometimes you just have to be a little bit persistent. And again, as you can see, this is not a finished space. I still am in the process of finishing all my trim work. There we go. This is the last one here. There it is. And the dial fits right over that. So where's my dial? Here it is. So it points up. A little bevel on there fits over that bevel. You can see. Lay it over it like that. Boom. So turn past the 10 to get it started. And I can set it for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and so forth. And then if you don't want it on all that time, you can turn it back and run it for the 10 minutes or whatever. Or just turn it completely off. So thanks for watching. Hope this was informative for you. Thanks. Bye-bye.